Could this be the best travel photography camera out there? This is the OM System OM-5, and in this video, I'm going to be giving you an honest review to see if you want to bag it or not. What do you want in a travel camera? You want something that's light, small, compact, takes great photos, and the OM-5 honestly ticks all those boxes, but it also leaves some empty.
So one of the big positives of this camera is the weather sealing on it. It boasts an IP53 weather sealing rating, which is one of the best on the market. And I've tested this same weather sealing with water with the OM-1, the big brother to the OM-5. But one thing I didn't test with that system is the cold. This boasts a sub-zero ability for the camera, and I wanted to test it because I'm seriously in a solid ice winter wonderland right now. Now look, I don't like to make phony reviews where I just sit in my office and just tell you about a camera. I'm actually gonna test this out. So I'm gonna bury this camera in ice and snow and see how it really performs with that IP53 weather rating. Let's see how it does. So it's been a few minutes now. Let's take the OM-5 out and see how it performs. Covered in ice and snow. I mean, this thing is like frozen solid. Let's see if it turns on. Yep, turns on, half battery, works like a charm.
Now on the body, I really like the camera dials that are on the right side of this camera because they easily allow you to change the settings, spin the dials, change whatever you want, and also has a lot of the menu options on the back as well. But the left side just leaves kind of a lot to be desired. Yes, you have the easy on-off switch, but you just have two little buttons on top of it that are honestly really hard to press down, especially when you're in cold environments like I was in today and wearing gloves.
It's really rugged, small, lightweight, and compact. Now, this is the smaller version of the OM-1 camera, and it has a lot of the same features, but it does have some drawbacks too. The OM-5 is very compact, making it easy to take anywhere, travel, outdoors, and it can tackle any kind of photography, which we'll get to more in this video. This is a very durable camera too, but it does have some drawbacks. One of the things that I'm not liking on the camera body of this, and it is small and compact, so I do understand them not putting this on here, is a larger hand grip and a battery grip. If you look right here, it's a very slim margin of error right here for you to hold your camera, and I'm not even wearing very thick gloves on this hand, and it's still a little bit hard to hold. Now, I love the grip on the OM-1, so I'm curious as to why they didn't include that on the OM-5, but I do understand it's for smaller, compact bodies like this. Also, I love how the LCD screen flips around. You can move this to any sort of level, allowing you to get down low and shoot different kinds of photos. This screen, plus those extensive shot modes helping you take longer exposures and high res features, renders a tripod with this camera pretty much useless.
Now, while we're talking about the camera body, if you're thinking this looks just like the Olympus EM5 Mark III, you'd be right. It's the exact same camera body, which is a little disappointing because it's a thin camera body. While I understand they're trying to make it lightweight, travel compatible, it's really hard to grip and not sure if you have the really good grip on it for cold weather environments and wet conditions, different things like that. I just like a big battery grip.
If you're liking this camera and you're liking this review, I have a link below for this camera. I'm not sponsored by OM Systems, but that link is there for you to check it out. And if you buy through that link, it helps our channel out to continue making videos like this that are gonna help you take better photos and get the right gear for your bag. Now, let's talk about the sensor real quick. This is a micro four thirds sensor. And while that's not going to blow anyone away with a camera like this, with APS-Cs and full frame models available, this sensor is actually really good. I know OM Systems makes 4/3 sensors because that's like their niche in the market. And that's awesome because this sensor, while small and lightweight and compact, it can actually stack a lot of your photos together to make high res photos. We'll get to that in just a second. Now, while looking at both the OM-1 and OM-5 cameras, and if you want a review of the OM-1, you can click the card showing up on your screen right now. I question why even make a 4/3 sensor anymore with APS-C and full frame models in competition. Well, it's because OM Systems really makes those micro 4/3 sensors for the camera bodies and the high quality lenses that they have. The lenses are also lightweight, compact. This is a 12 to 45, and it's so small and lightweight that I can take it anywhere. I can even throw it in my pocket. So changing their sensor to adapt to the market of APS-C and full frame wouldn't make sense, because they'd be completely negating all of the market on the lenses that they already have available for you to get with this camera. Now, while the OM-5 is all iced up, one of the features that I really want to test out with this camera is the high res feature. So even though this is a micro four thirds sensor, one of the features on this camera is that you can actually hand hold a high res mode, which is basically it taking multiple frames very fastly and then merging them all together into one shot that ranges up to 50 megapixels. I want to test this out on some fine detail ice and then zoom in on it in post-processing so that we can see how well it did. Okay, so literally on ice right now. So what I'm gonna do is just focus in on this little bit of ice right here with the high res mode and shoot straight down, because there are a lot of little fine details all down in here in the ice. And I think the high res mode is really gonna shine when we zoom in on all these little features and see how good of a job that it does with a lot of those fine details. So it takes a little bit of time to do this, but I think the benefit is that you can hand hold this and you don't even need a tripod to do it.
Let's look at this high-res photo that I was able to take out here, and let's zoom in on some of these features to see if it actually worked really well. So here we go, here's the photo that we got. And if I zoom in really closely into this photo, you can see a lot of these details coming out. Right now I'm at 200% on this photo, but if I go to like 1600% down to pixel level, you can see that there are a lot of fine details on this. Let's zoom out and go to 400, and you can see that those details come in a lot better. Now, if I come down here and go to something like sharpening amount, and increase that sharpening, you can see that a lot of those details start to come out even more. Now, you don't want to go too heavy on those, but you can see that even at 800, 400, 200%, you have a lot of fine detail coming out of this high-res shot, which is extremely promising, and I would not hesitate to use this feature more in the field if I was camping, hiking, backpacking, something like that. The autofocus tracking system on this camera is good, but not great. Now, I don't think it's as good as the OM-1 camera, but it does do a pretty good job tracking people and faces. The only problem is when you're tracking something like landscape subjects, nature subjects, or wildlife, it does tend to jump from one subject to the other, causing you to perhaps miss a shot here and there. Now, I typically use manual focus when I'm out in the field shooting, which is an unpopular way to shoot among a lot of outdoor photographers, but that is typically how I shoot. But I did experience some jumping with the AF system on the OM-5.
Okay, let's answer the question, who is the OM-5 even for? This is an incredibly durable, lightweight camera, small, compact, that can go anywhere for you. It can tackle most of the outdoor photography necessities that you may have. Now, I wouldn't take this on a serious outdoor photography trip without a tripod and switching it into manual mode and taking all my gizmos and gadgets with me. But if you're just a hobbyist and you're going out there for a weekend, maybe you're a weekend warrior, hiking, backpacking, and you want to save a lot of room, this is a great fit for you because you can easily throw it in your bag, not take up any extra space, and still get great photos with it. Maybe you want an OM system camera with more capabilities. In that case, click this review of the OM system OM-1 that's going to show you those features in it as well.